couple of episodes of the Upper Class Truck Driver. Research has come out today that suggests by cycling to work every day, you can reduce the risk of a heart attack by as much as 50%. Sounds great. Of course, what it doesn't take into account is that by driving to work every day, you reduce the chances of being underneath the wheels of an articulated lorry by as much as 100%. Now, if you can do the maths, you'll soon discover that 100 is twice the amount of 50. And that means, by driving to work every day, you can double your chances of a long and fruitful life. You're probably wondering why I'm drinking generic red wine out of a tumbler and not a proper wine glass. Well, it's quite simply a matter of etiquette. Oh, bad etiquette. Not on my behalf, of course, I might add, but upon my host. You see, I've been invited round for a little soiree. A friend of mine, they've recently had a child and they thought they'd celebrate by inviting round one of their oldest friends. And by oldest, I mean, no, the longest. But they simply don't seem to understand. You don't serve wine in a tumbler. It's ridiculous. I mean, to be absolutely honest, if it weren't for the fact that I can't stand to be around anyone's house for longer than 10 minutes without getting a bit pissed, I would have tipped it down the sink. But that's other people's etiquette for you, I'm afraid. I mean, take this for example. They've gone off upstairs because their child's crying and left me downstairs by myself. I mean, what kind of party is that? When I came here, they didn't switch the bloody television off. There's nowhere for me to park. They've asked me to try and talk quietly. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Not only that, I'm in a poxy little 2 up, 2 down, so they can't even put me up for the night. Which means after my 3rd or 4th bottle of wine, I'm going to either have to drive home pissed or order a cab. Probably going to have to be a cab. Can't really take the chance. I'll tell you what, they'll be paying for it. Rather interesting article on the radio earlier. Scientists can now develop artificial intelligence that has a conscience. Robots that can think for themselves. Robots with opinions that they'll share with you about your beard. They'll also probably be able to do art and literature and create jokes so funny your bow will empty itself on impact of the punchline. It's going to come to a sticky end though. Not so long back, the lonely fellow would hump his rather unconvincing blow-up doll. These days, of course, he has something a bit more interesting. A doll that looks and smells and feels like a real woman. It won't be too long before you'll have one that smells and feels and looks just like a real woman, but it'll have a personality too. The ladies won't be able to compete with that. Not that they'll care, though. I mean, they're so blasé and nonchalant anyway. They won't even notice robots stealing their men from under their noses. And of course, it doesn't really help, really, that when you think about it, men would be so sucked in by the software and what these robots can offer. They'll be able to do whatever a man wants, whenever the man wants it. I really may think that, men, they don't want robots, they want real women. But, I mean, real women are 90% fake these days anyway. So I see the end of the human race, because it won't be so long before these robots will start to procreate all by themselves. And we will have effectively invented ourselves out of existence. That Jeremy Vine's starting to really hack me off. He's nothing but a posh thug. A university bully, indeed. The way he has fun with people about serious subjects. He's always laughing and making some sort of deal about donuts. What is it with Jeremys, though? I mean, are all Jeremys bullies? There's Clarkson, of course, who's a big moo cow-faced bully. There's Paxman, the political big chicken-faced bully. Jeremy Beadle, who bullied people into thinking he was funny or something. Then there's Jeremy Kyle, who's put himself on a pedestal just so he can laugh at the small people down below him with very little intelligence. And there's that other Jeremy, of course, who just ended up in prison. I mean, really? Are there any Jeremys that aren't bullies? Really? Come on, surely.